Hi everyone, it's Tracy here. Today I am using this Simon Says Stamp Falling Snow stencil, and I have a piece of light gray cardstock. Lately I've been loving using light gray cardstock, so that is why I'm using it on this card. I just taped down my paper onto my nonstick craft sheet, and then I'm going to tape down my stencil with some washi tape. This way it's not going to move when I start applying the embossing paste, and I don't have to worry about trying to hold it in the same place. So I'm using this white embossing paste from Wendy Vecchi, and I'm just applying it with my palette knife. So I'm applying a thin layer and making sure that all of the stencil is covered. And then once I'm finished, I'm going to scrape off all the extra, and then I can go ahead and lift up my stencil to reveal my gorgeous background. And then I'm setting that aside to dry completely. So I'm using this stamp set from Fawn. I know, another Fawn card, but I have so many cute stamps from Fawn and I want to use them, and I know that you guys love Fawn too. So I'm stamping the sled with my Tuxedo Black Memento ink on a piece of Coordination's 110-pound cardstock. I want to leave some room on top because I'm also going to be stamping the reindeer. So then I have the reindeer sitting down, and I'm going to stamp that so it looks like he's sitting on top of the sled. And then I'm going to stamp the string so that it looks like it's connected to the sled and kind of the reindeer. This one was a little bit more tricky to line up, so I just tried the best that I could, and it looks cute anyway. So you can see I'm kind of playing around deciding where I want to stamp it and where it would look the best. And I think for it to be connected to the other reindeer, I had to stamp it up so it looks like it's tied around that reindeer. So then I have my second reindeer. It's going to look like he's pulling the other reindeer on the sled. And again, you can see through these stamps, which makes it easier to line up, but it's still a little bit tricky. So I'm also going to be stamping the trees at the same time. I'm starting with the Hero Arts Field Greens ink, and I'm going to stamp this twice onto my cardstock. And then I also stamped it twice with the Hero Arts Green Hills and Simon Says Stamp Green Apple ink, but for some reason that part got cut out of my video. So now I'm just going to color in my reindeer and sled with my Copic markers. I'm coloring in the face part of the deer with the E31. This is just a really light brown. And then I'm going to color in the rest of the reindeer with the E35, which is a darker brown. And I'm just going to go over this part quickly and then cut out the rest since it's the same exact process. So then for shading, I'm adding the E37, and I'm just adding little bits of that shading onto both of the reindeer. And then I'm going to go back in with my E35 and just color over that part again and blend both of those colors together. Next I'm going to take the E81 and color in the antlers, and then the hooves on both of the deer. And I'm also going to use this color to color in the ears. And then my final color, I'm going to color in the sled with the E74. And then I went ahead and fussy cut this all out as one image, and then I also cut the trees out. So I'm going to adhere my background to a piece of white cardstock that I cut in half. I cut it in half the long way to make an A2 size card base. And then I also freehand cut these two snowy hills. So I'm going to stamp my sentiment on one of the hills, and I'm using the Tuxedo Black Memento ink. So I'm just going to put this on my clear acrylic block and then ink it up. And then I'm going to stamp it on the very bottom of the hill. And it fits perfectly on the A2 size card base. So next I'm going to assemble my card together. I'm first going to adhere down that snow hill, and then the second one right over the top of it. And then I'm going to place my trees onto the card. So I have 3 different shades of green. I'm going to apply the darkest to the background so that it creates depth on my card, because naturally the darkest trees would be in the background. And then the other 2 look pretty similar, but one is a little bit darker. The Simon Says Stamp Green Apple ink is a little bit darker than the Hero Arts Green Hills. So I'm going to slightly overlap some of these and just create variation within the trees. And then I'll apply the 2 lightest trees to the foreground. And I'm using my multi-matte medium for this. And then to adhere the reindeer onto the card, I'm going to be using some 3D foam squares. I want those popped up against my background. And I'm using the large foam squares from Best Creation. And all of the supplies I'm using on this card will be linked below if you're interested in any of them. This lawn fawn set is really cute, and I know that the Falling Snow stencil from Simon Stamp is also really popular. Plus, you're going to want to get some embossing paste because that stuff is awesome, and I need to buy another jar because mine is almost gone. So I just went ahead and placed that onto my card. Next, I'm going to take my clear Wink of Stella glitter pen and just cover the trees in glitter. It's just going to add a little bit something extra to the card. And the Wink of Stella is a really subtle shimmer, so it's not too much glitter, and there's no chunky glitter that will fall off or anything like that. So I'm just getting all of those trees covered in the glitter. And then that is my finished card for today, so I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I will be back here for another holiday card series video on Friday. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you then. Bye everyone!